Hey guys, welcome back to JFP podcast. Today I'm with my host Keegan, and we have a very special guest, JD Ophoven. How you doing today, JD?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me on this wonderful podcast. It's an honor to be your first guest.
Yeah, for sure.
I've uh, I've been working on my podcasting voice all week for this, so hopefully it comes through like I've been rehearsing this.
Hell yeah.
You're sounding good. You're sounding good. I'd like to dive in about your start of your paintball career into where you're ending up right now. I know you're playing for the Warbirds now, but you want to walk us through your paintball career?
Yeah, it's been a long career, that's for sure. Currently, yes, playing with the Annandale Warbirds. I've been on their team for now for about a year and a half. It's been an absolute blast playing with those guys. Not that it's not a blast playing with you guys and everybody else that comes up. I just love playing on the team. But my career started in 2005, so I've been playing paintball for almost 20 years. Zero of them professionally, but yeah, I just started out playing in a friend's cabin with some spider clones, hacking away at each other, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I like that. Let's play more. And eventually I got my own real spider and just kind of progressed up and took breaks here and there and kind of got back into it when I turned 21. Is that around 2011? Played a little bit more competitively, but I still don't know what I was doing. And finally, a few years ago, when I'm like, all right, third time's a charm, coming back to paintball. And now we're here to stay.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Uh, what was your first marker?
Spider Extra, which I still have
You
sitting on
still
the
have it?
couch, like 20 feet away from me. Yeah.
Hell
I don't know
yeah.
if it works, but I've been wanting to throw a tank in it and just see if I can still rip it. But I don't have a loader that'll fit it. You need one of those little plastic adapters that screw onto
What?
the
What?
loader and then on.
My brother, he's the one who got me into paintball. He bought some sort of spider back way in the day, and it was like a pink and black spider.
Pink and
Yeah,
black.
you needed that little like feed neck adapter to take any type of hopper, and he had that spider marker with a halo hopper. That thing was ripping, but it broke right away because I mean, it's a spider. But yeah, it was that thing was sweet.
What's a good boy? Everybody that was cool back in the day had a spider or a spider imagine.
Yeah,
We need to bring those back. We need to start using those again.
What's your go-to marker now? What do you use now?
My CS3 for sure. I've been using that for the last year now, and I don't know. It's just I'm done changing markers. I'm done going through different. On something that's reliable. It works anytime. I can just take it out of my gear bag and fire it up, and it's good to go.
that's what I really heard about Planet Eclipse guns is you can literally put it in the closet and then a year later bring it out and it'll work just fine.
Pretty much. Now, obviously, I still gotta take care of it a little bit. Gotta not have it just sit there and rot away. At least for the CS3, like just the way that it's designed and like the mechanical kind of backbone of it. Yeah, you can just wipe off the bolt with your elbow and throw it back in, and you're good to go. I know the Geo and the LV are a little bit more maintenance involved, especially if you want to tinker with it. But as far as just like a bare bones go-to marker, the CS3 is my will be my go-to from now on. And I've shot everything. I've shot Luxes. I've shot die guns. I've shot Bob Longs. That's just I don't want to buy another gun.
Yeah, you prefer the Planet Eclipse?
Yep, that's my home country now.
There you go. What position do
Yeah.
you play for the Warbirds?
That's a good question. I whatever JT tells me to go play at that point. Um,
Do you guys kind of like have a hybrid role on you don't necessarily play a certain position, you just get told what to do?
yes and no. We definitely have our front guys that are just super quick, super agile, and down the snake faster than anybody else on the team. So and obviously, it's the same, pretty much any team. Everybody's going to have their dedicated front players, but there's a lot of us that can jump around. I mean, I can play back and communicate, across the field. I can jump up to a two role and support whoever's on the D or snake side. I can, I've done and then have been able to get up into the one position and play that aggressive. It really depends on the day, though. If I ate my Wheaties that morning, I'm going to be the one or the three.
For sure.
But no, and that's the nice thing about some of the players, a lot of our players on the team. Not that anybody has like a dedicated. We have the paintball knowledge to go play different positions and kind of know where our role is specifically on that field, and that just comes with time.
Yeah, for sure. JD, you and I have played on a team previously, but now that you moved over to a more of an I would call an organized team, a team owned by a field, What are kind of some of the advantages of being a part of a team that's associated with a field that has the backing of a field?
I'm going to be blunt with you, Keegan and Randy. It's really not that much different. I don't want you guys to like discredit yourselves and be like, oh, we're not organized at JFP. No, you guys are doing great. I love seeing you guys on the field. You guys are all getting better. You're just out there consistently, which is half the battle of getting better at paintball.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sell the Warbird shirt here or JT's team because they do an awesome job, hosting a field and having that place where everybody can kind of come out and just play on the weekend. There's a few perks and there's also a few downsides. We do practice every couple of weekends. We also got to work the tournaments. We also got to clean up the field. It's definitely a give and take. But as far as like a process and operations wise, what you guys are doing is very very similar to what we're doing as a team. It's just JT's been in the game now for 20 something years as a field owner, so he's got all these connections with different companies. And but like I said, as far as differences, there's really not too much.
Yeah, I mean, you've been one of the only few players that are literally out there every weekend, rain or shine. If there's snow on the ground, if the field's open, you're out there. And you have also been one of the few players that no matter the situation, no matter what, you are more than willing to help anybody and everybody who's out there, which is amazing. And I love that.
Well, thank you, Randy. I appreciate you noticing that. And I just like to think that I have nothing else better to do on my weekends, so that's why I'm out there all the time.
That's fair. I mean, a lot of the things that I have learned are mainly from you and Jake. I mean, especially when I first started, you and Jake were always there. Like even without me asking for the help or any questions, you guys were like, "Hey, you this is what you did good. This is what you could have done a little bit better, and just go out there, have some fun, and maybe try it out." You guys never really push anything. You guys never really like, "Oh yeah, that sucked." It's just fun.
Always
Well, I mean,
constructive feedback from you guys.
I was going to say, we just don't say that to your face. We keep that part for ourselves.
Yeah.
Just to walk away. No, it's just about having everybody else get better. I mean, if you're going to be the only good person out there and you're not going to help anybody, okay, yeah, you're the king of the weekend warriors here. That's good for you. I'm sure you can put that on a resume.
Right,
That's
right.
not helping everybody in the long term. And it's been great, seeing you guys, get better. I remember when you first came out there, Randy, and now do you see you as a straight shooter out in the snake, sliding down and getting super aggressive. It's just like, oh man, everybody's gotten so much better.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge thanks to you and a lot of the Warbirds. That's for sure.
No, it's been great. And Keegan, you've done a fantastic job, let alone playing, but kind of being the spine of your organization and getting people organized, getting people out there. I've told JT this, I've told Jake, but it's this last year especially. It's been one of the best years out there. Just having people to play almost every weekend. I remember weekends a couple years ago where it's just like one or two of us, and there's just only so many targets you can shoot, so many drills you can do, and so many snap shooting before you're just like, I want to play a game. So
Right.
thank you guys for being out there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
What's one of your best moments or favorite moments that you have had while paintballing? One that just sticks in the back of your mind.
That's a tough question. They've been all so good. World Cup this year, World Cup was definitely a good one. Getting to stand up on the stage and helping our team get to a third place in 3-man out of like what 65 teams or something. So
Break
that
that
was
down for us. That's a
Yeah,
huge accomplishment.
that's amazing.
Going out to a 3-man at World Cup, repping Minnesota and bringing home a third place. That's huge. Walk us through that a little bit.
yeah yeah that was a long weekend of paintball. So yeah, World Cup 2025. We went out there for the week. It was a pretty skinny crew. I think there was six of us total for 5-man on Saturday, which is more than enough when you're playing race two. But we all got a lot of points, and we played pretty well in 5-man, but we just didn't have enough to get us out of prelims. But we made a decision to play 3-man the next day, and it was tough. We were going to play either 10-man with the Killer Bees and or 3-man, and just cost wise, we ended up going 3-man. But I digress. But yeah, Saturday, Sunday went out, and who was it? Jake, Tony, and Logan. We're just straight killers on the field all day. Yeah, I was suited up, but to be quite honest, I didn't even play a point. Those guys were just playing super well. It's why bother mixing things up? So me and Andy were helping in the pits with those guys. But
You
like I said, they just went out and knocked it out in prelims. Made it through the first couple rounds of playoffs. We had a bye through the Ochos, and then yeah, ended up coming down to a 1v1. We were playing for the podium or the championship game, whatever the 1 and 2 was. But just came up in the short in the 1-on-1. It was super close, but we still ended up making it to the podium round and won third place. So it was a pretty awesome weekend.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude. Good for you guys.
Thank you. Like I said, it was really Jake, Tony, and Logan. They were doing all the hard work. They were just on point all day with their playing.
I've always been a person of the mindset of all positions, no matter what you do for your team, it's very crucial that everybody's 100% in. You know, even if you're not playing on the field, you mean you're filling pods, you're wiping guys down, you are a part of that overall function that allows teams to be able to succeed. And I feel like even if you are a pod filler, even if you're not playing, your role is just as important as those are who are playing on the field.
110%. It's definitely a village to raise a paintball team. We've learned that the hard way this year when we were playing Max. We went out a couple events, just a little shorthanded, not having too many people in the pit to help. But Elena was there. Tony K did some coaching for us. JT, of course, was out there. But just having extra hands in the pit so critical. It's you can't do it on your own.
For
If
sure.
you had to be a team that went out and played, X ball with 6 guys and then to fill up pods and then get paint and wipe off hits and clean guns. It's just impossible. So thank your pit crew. Recruit pit crew if you don't have pit crew. Even someone just going out to grab pods. That's one less thing you have to worry about at the end of the point that needs to be done.
For sure. What's something that keeps you coming back? Why do you come every weekend? What's your drive to come out and play paintball?
Well, Randy, I did mention that I have nothing else to do on weekends, so that's definitely a good driving factor to get me out there. No, I know paintball is just the best. It's a real time strategy. It's a physical cardio forward game. You get to shoot a gun, you get to shoot your friends, and then you get to laugh about it afterwards. I don't know. I You can't really play too many games like that. I
Yeah.
can't even think of another game like that. Chess boxing, maybe that's pretty close, but that's about it.
I think it's interesting because I think I was talking to Paul about this, that paintball is not, it's not always the case, but paintball is usually the blue collar sport, and then golf is the white collar sport. Do you agree with that?
Hmm. I gave up golf to come back into paintball, and I never regretted my decision to do that. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that stereotype, but I could see why.
Yeah, because again, going back to that stereotype. I think Paul was really trying to get at, a lot of people have the time and money to sink into golf, but paintball is usually the sport that's not usually named. And paintball, we all know, is very expensive, just like golf. But people usually tend to go towards golf. Do you think it's more of a physicality and the lack of knowledge on paintball is what keeps people away?
I don't know. I think golf is definitely that sport where people can go out for 4 hours and get tanked and hit a couple balls, have some good laughs with their friends, and then go back to whatever home they have afterwards. Not quite as much physical work as paintball, so I could see that as definitely an appealing factor for people that don't want to get dirty and sweaty and hurt and sore and broken the next day. But you just got to have people come out once and they're like, oh man, paintball's so much fun. And then you're like, oh yeah, you can do this every week. You don't have to wait for a bachelor's party or a birthday party to come out and do it.
Yeah.
In your eye, in your mind, what is the biggest deterrent of people not coming to play paintball?
I think the initial hump is people just not having friends to play with. And of course, when you pick up an activity or any hobby that nobody else in your circle does, you're really timid. You don't want to go somewhere on your own and try and fit in with a crowd. And that's actually what I did with paintball. Is I got back into it, 2022, and I'm like, I don't have any friends that play. I don't want to go play. So I looked up Annandale, saw what was going on, saw they had the Sunday challenge, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go out and play at least 4 times this year because that's how many Sunday challenges they do. And last the first one, met a couple of friends, and then all of a sudden I'm back there every other week that year to go play. So it's just that initial. I don't know who's doing this, but just go out, have fun, meet people. Because after 2 or 3 times, I'm gonna recognize you, and I'm gonna say something, and then all of a sudden I know your name, and then all of a sudden, like I told Paul, we brainwashed him into being a field regular. So it's a very slow process, but once we get you, that's how we hook you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's
That's a
definitely one of those sports that like the community is awesome. So once you start getting into it, or you come out, just a couple times, and people are gonna say what's up. People are gonna say hi to you. People are gonna try to talk to you, and the community is just amazing.
100%.
yeah.
And I reluctantly got back onto social media after starting back in paintball, and now all of a sudden it's like 100 something people that I have met and become acquainted with just by buying a CZR off of ANS and wanting to go play the Sunday Challenge. Now I have a whole new network of different people and friends that I have now associated with myself.
Yeah, you guys got some pretty cool pictures, and a lot of the pictures that you post of you out there on the field, some of the tournaments that you guys have done. You guys got some pretty cool pictures out there as well.
Now we got a couple. We got Jason on our team, Krieger. He takes all the photos for the Sunday challenges and the tournaments. So it's awesome having that resource on our team directly.
Yeah.
Of course, JT, the field owner for Annandale Paintball, and our head coach slash team leader. The couple good sources, and again, I've just met a couple people through paintball playing at EXL and the different tournaments. So yeah, again, you just kind of find out who takes good photos, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna pay you next time.
Yeah, for sure. How does the weather affect you playing paintball? Performance, how much time you play, like during the off season, because we have a pretty
Mhm.
big off season here in the Midwest. So during the off season,
Yeah.
what are you doing to stay up, stay caught up, prepare for the next season?
I am constantly playing video games. I am constantly working out. I am constantly thinking about paintball. No, especially in this off season, you just gotta hopefully stay somewhat healthy and somewhat fit. I can definitely feel that I've gained about 15 pounds since World Cup has ended. So got to go take care of that on the treadmill at some point. But there's a couple places to play in the winter. I know Splat Tag over in Hudson does some winter games. I know Vintage does some winter games. I know Splat Ball has their indoor part on Fridays. But yeah, I don't know. Just gotta stay in shape. Keep the gun in your hand. Practice your snaps. Dream about the next season.
If there was a full field, indoor field,
Yes.
what do you think that would do for Minnesota, especially the teams around here? What do you think that would do?
Oh man, if we had a great system where people didn't need to pay rent for their leases on their buildings, we would have so many paved fields around here. You know, we've tried it before. I know Aerosalt has had a couple of full size fields, but we just don't have the regular business. It's a very small revenue pool in paintball, especially in the Midwest here. To have a big what's it got to be, probably like a 10,000 square foot warehouse, unless you're operating 7 days a week, 12 hours a day with consistent business just all day, it's never going to happen in this area. As much as I hate saying that,
No,
I think
I
it'd be
agree.
awesome. I saw a post. I think Splat Tag made a comment, said they were looking for maybe a warehouse in the Minneapolis area. I knock on wood. I hope everything with that pans out. It's just until we have people lining up to play every day of the week, it's just not going to be possible in this area.
I think that they might
Yeah.
do like a weekend warriors type of thing for
It'd be
those.
great if they could use the building for something else during the week. It's just building rent and utilities is just so much of an expense, like a fixed cost for
Oh, for
fields
sure.
that unless they're going to be charging $120 a case of paint, which then again nobody's going to go out and play. So it's a very catch 22 system. And it's just we need year round weather where we can play outside all the time. It's just not going to happen up here.
Right. JD, do you think that, especially in the Midwest, do you think that people really know about the professional side of paintball, or do you think more people veer towards like woods ball?
Yeah, absolutely the latter. That's when I, and that's why I kind of hate bringing up paintball to people kind of outside the world, because I'm just like, oh yeah, I play paintball competitively, and they're like, in the woods? No, 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 no. A
Yeah.
gridded field, everything's symmetrical, blah blah blah. It's actually a lot of physical work. It's really cool. But until they actually go out and play that one time, it's just describing a foreign world to someone in a matter of 15 seconds. It's just not You're just not capable of doing it in that short amount of time.
Yeah,
Till I
for
show them
sure.
pictures.
I was gonna say yeah, because I have the same problem where I explain to people I play paintball, but not just woods ball. I play speedball, and they're like, What is that?" And then you're always having to show a picture because you can't really explain it. And people take a look at the pictures and they're like, "Whoa, that's so cool!" And you're like, "Yeah, you should come play with us."
And that's what I try to do whenever if I'm roughing at the field or if I'm just there playing, and kids come up to me and say, "Oh, cool gun, man! What did you get?" I'm like, "Hey, it's awesome. Here, check it out. Believe it or not, you can play this any time of the week. You can get your own gear, come up and hang out every weekend, and it's just the people that find it that actually stick with it. That's how they get into it.
For sure.
Yeah.
First time I ever came out, I didn't know anything about speedball. I just came out to play. It was like Battle of the Beef or one of those things that they do out at Annandale, and all you guys were out there with your guns. Some of you guys were letting me rip them, and I was like, this is fucking awesome.
And look, here you are now. Let's take a podcast,
Yeah.
playing in tournaments.
Yeah, we're trying our best. That's for sure. Trying to do everything that we can out here, grow the community of paintball.
I guys have a good squad. I mean, how many on your team though?
Oh
Too many
man.
to count.
Yeah, we got quite a few guys.
Do I need more than two hands to count?
Yes,
Oh yeah.
definitely.
Ten's my limit. Oh, that's good.
Tens my
Definitely, yeah, we're definitely grateful for all of our guys on our team, and we're always looking to grow the sport. So if you're in Minnesota or you're around, come out to Annandale. A lot of us will be there. A lot of JFP players, a lot of Warbirds will be out there. If not close to us, there's other paintball fields. Make sure you go out and support your local field. I think that's very important.
Yes.
Get in the groove of it. Start making friends. You will make friends if you go to the field. To your point, JD, people fear of they want someone to play paintball with. Just go to the field and you're gonna have a blast with whoever's there, and you're gonna grow your friends through paintball. And I think that's very important to know and for people to understand that.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't stress that it's exercise too.
Oh
That's
yeah,
half the motivate. It's a lot easier to get cardio in when there's somebody shooting at you as opposed to just trying to go out and run on the treadmill.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Running is boring, but when you're running and shooting somebody with a paintball gun, I think that's a lot fun. A lot funner. Funner's not a word, but a lot funner than just going on a jog.
I agree. You will definitely be sore the next day, especially after your first time playing, but it is 100% worth it every time. What are some of the challenges you face playing paintball?
If I knew the answer to that, I'd be professional. Challenges? Playing consistently. I think is definitely one of the biggest challenges I have. So many things can happen in a week. So many things can change your mood. Maybe you were lazy that day, and those first few points are going to be a little struggle. Just going out there and playing with the same focus, the same mentality, the same aggressiveness level. It's definitely hard for me to keep that up week after week, and I think I do a pretty good job, but kind of like what I said earlier, if I didn't have the energy that morning, or if I had a bad night's sleep, yeah, I'm probably not going to play a one position. I'm probably going to play more in the back. But
For sure.
if I had a good week and I was motivated, I got everything done, I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm ready to go up there in front and start mowing people down. So I just think that just keeping that physical consistency is one of my biggest gripes with paintball.
Yeah. Have you ever had a challenge of maintaining your gear at any point during a tournament?
No, no. I mean, I've played enough tournaments now where I don't even need to look at the checklist anymore. I know what's going to be in my gear bag. I know what I need to do to clean my gun. Shout out to Planet Eclipse for having an easily cleanable gun. Just
For
having
sure.
everything ready, everything lubed up, cleaned before you go out in the field. Having backups to your backups. Always having a spare gun to or built. There's nothing that's going to come up on the day that you can't get by with a quick gun change or a quick battery change.
Yeah. What do you normally carry in your gear bag?
I there's no really special tricks or tips that I have. We have a nice team checklist that JT sends out to us before the event, just
Oh,
all of our
nice.
gear and all the standard stuff. I don't think there's even two guns, two hoppers. I guess three hoppers now. Thank you, Brandon. Two tanks, cleats, pod pack, pads, couple masks.
What's your go-to mask? You said you got a couple masks. What's your go-to mask that you use?
Proflex. I'm all on the board on the
Proflex.
Proflex train. I have
Yeah.
3 or 4 of those now. Too many, and
Hell
they
yeah.
keep releasing new ones and new colors, and it's too much to keep up. Yeah, it's definitely the my go-to mask. Super comfortable, breathable. I love it.
Yeah, I saw that the new December one that they just released. I don't remember exactly what it's
The
called, but it's like,
turquoise.
yeah, dude, that one looks sweet.
Yeah, I just saw it today, and I was like, "That thing is sweet." My birthday's in a couple of days, so I feel like I'm
Ooh,
obligated to go buy that.
That's what I'm saying. My birthday was
are you,
a week and a half ago. I might have to go get one.
oh man, happy birthday, guys! You should really treat yourselves to a new Proflex.
Yeah, I would, but I just bought this microphone.
Oh well, oh well. Kiki, do you use a Proflex? I don't remember what you
Yeah,
use.
I
Okay.
for the longest time I had the Bunker King's command
Yep, yep,
mask,
yep.
and then that was the whole deal with what we did with unaffiliated, and then I still
Right.
had that for a while, and then I finally got a Proflex. I got a was a clear navy Proflex. I didn't really like the color too much, and so I just got I went on ANS and got just the frames, the lens frames, and then I went to JT. Shout out to JT for hooking me up with the lowers, and then like the straps and everything else I needed to finish that build, and some nice clean lenses. And it looks really sharp, and I really like it. So yeah, it's I'm rocking the Proflexes now. But I want to ask you, you got, from the sounds of it, you got a lot of equipment. How do you,
Hmm.
stay organized with all of your equipment? Do you have multiple gear bags, or how you keep
Nope, just
organized?
I just have one giant gear bag, an old Empire bag, roller bag that a teammate picked up for me, and that's what I've just been keeping it in. I just try to keep everything at least in there. I try to make sure everything's in there the day before I go out and play. That way I don't have to scramble and think of everything before I leave. But like I said, I play so much that I just keep everything in my gear bag. I just know everything's in there. I think there's only been one time in the last 2 years where I forgot my elbow pads, except the time where I forgot Mason's elbow pads. Sorry, Mason. That was my fault. So I've been pretty lucky just to again play enough where I just don't have to think about what's in my gear bag.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Do you guys have a checklist?
We
You guys
do
are going to a
not.
tournament?
I I tell people to figure their shit out, and hopefully they figure their shit out. But no, it's not like we have a checklist. It's not like I send something out. Like I said, like I think this is from my perspective, but I really do think that when you like the Warbirds for you guys, I feel like you guys are a lot more organized. JT's had several years to figure, how tournaments work and how to prep for them. And that's probably some of the experience that I coach, mentor, manager, whatever, I don't have. And so that's a real struggle for me on trying to learn what the best methods to approach, you know, events, tournaments, and whatnot. And so yeah, it's definitely I feel like a checklist and learning more from JT would definitely benefit us in the long term.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you've done a pretty good job of, anytime we have a tournament coming up, you're always pretty on top of telling everyone to make sure that they have everything, make sure that they're prepared, make sure that their guns are clean, lubed up, everything is good to go. For me personally, I keep everything in a set spot in my gear bag. I don't have like an actual paintball gear
Yeah.
bag. I have a heavy duty army travel bag is what I use,
Hmm.
and I just keep everything in a set spot. Like when I'm cleaning something or I'm maintaining something, I just do it one at a time and I put it directly back in the spot that it was.
One thing that we kind of implemented last year was when we're at the Airbnb or the hotel or whatever we're staying, we all would clean our guns before the event, and we would all just sit in a circle and just clean our guns. It's just talk shit and giggles. And so I feel like that's a good way of team bonding and making sure that your gun's clean and making, holding everybody else accountable, making sure their stuff is clean and ready to go.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like the symbolic, oh man, we're getting ready to play tomorrow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely a good feeling to sit around with the team and work on the same thing together. Obviously, you're doing a little bit separate things, but if you got any questions, you need any help with anything, everybody's willing to help out and answer any questions, which is amazing.
Still, if you're playing tournaments, you should know your gun inside and out. Read the manual. That's I can't stress that enough. It's so fun watching some of the questions come up on Facebook or groups or whatever it might be, and it's just like, man, if you read the manual, you have the answer to that already.
Yeah.
I can't stress this enough. Like all these new guys, like you, Randy, all these new kids coming up in this industry that haven't had to experience gun problems regularly, or just twisting your on and off. That first time that weekend and just holding your breath, hoping your gun doesn't leak out the barrel or something, and you're just like, oh, okay, I can actually play this weekend.
Yeah, no, I've only experienced that one time, and I didn't. It was with my tank. My tank was leaking air, and I don't have a backup tank, which shame on me. Thankfully, I have plenty of teammates more than willing to give me their spare stuff that they have that works beautifully. So that was amazing.
No,
Yeah, that's
it's good having resources because something of a teammates isn't going to work that weekend. So we've definitely run into that several times over the year ourselves.
Have you ever had a moment where have you ever had a moment during a tournament, during practice, during just any weekend that you just went out to play for fun, that in the middle of it all, it's just your gun or your hopper or your tank just went to shit and you had to figure out something really quick?
I'm knock on wood that I haven't had too much of those issues yet. No, luckily I am able to hopefully maintain myself good enough throughout the week that when it comes to the nitty gritty on the weekend, that I'm not going to run into issues. And things happen, and weather might be an issue, which is the big one for most of the guns these days, going from 90-degree summers to what was it, 27 degrees in that last day of play last year. That can definitely spring some leaks somewhere, but nothing that a dollop of lube can't solve.
Were you having so that last Sunday challenge? Did you have any problems? Were you shooting soup, or was everything working just good for you during that 27-degree weather?
Paint was a little brittle. That's the only thing that I could think of. But again, kind of like you mentioned last week, everybody was really having issues with paint brittleness. That's going to happen in cold weather. Gun shot great. I think I had maybe a slight leak out of my ASA. I got back inside the next day, and it was 69 degrees in here, and no leak whatsoever when I aired it up. So again, that was just a weather thing.
I got really, I don't know about you guys, but I got really upset because that was the last Sunday challenge of the year, and that was like the only cold day that whole week. And I was like, it had to have landed on that Sunday, and I got really pissed off. And yeah, I know for myself it wasn't really fun, but those are the more important days where you just gotta kind of settle in and practice, because you have to practice for those types of events. If that were to happen at a tournament and whatnot, you got to kind of play through it. So you got to buckle in and keep playing and treat it as a tournament and to learn from it. So I think that's very important.
I think we had it lucky that day because if I recall correctly, I saw some videos from Blast Camp and from Siege that weekend where they were playing in snow. I mean, they had multiple inches of snow on the ground. Where, yeah, at least it was cold for us, but we didn't have to deal with any snow.
That is true. I will give them that. That's there definitely Blast Camp definitely had it worse off than us, but still, it was the coldest day of the whole week, and it happened to land on a Sunday. And it was windy as hell too. But I
Yeah,
feel like it's
that's the
always
worst part.
windy at Annandale. To be honest, it's a little windy because we're in a field, an open field.
It's windy on the weekends. During the week, it's not windy at all, but only on the weekends. That's when the wind kicks in. But I
Biased.
mean, I mean, this year, yeah, I mean, most years, we get to like some middle of 90 degrees in the summer and, back down to, sub-zero or sub-freezing temperatures, on the early and the later parts of the season. What do you guys prefer to play in? Do you like playing when it's hot? Do you like playing when it's cold? What's your go-to temperature?
I personally, I like when it's a little bit more chilly out. Is especially in the morning. It's cold, but you get that blood flowing. You get some adrenaline in you. Maybe some energy drinks. Probably not the best option, but get some energy drinks in you. Go out there and fucking ball out, dude. It's a lot easier to play. Not so much when it's cold, but chilly. I would say like 60s, low 70s is a good average temp. It keeps the paint just brittle enough where you're not breaking so many balls in your gun, but they're breaking on impact every time.
Definitely second that opinion. I feel like playing like in the like I call it the morning dew time. Playing, in the morning, it's a little chilly. There may be a little morning dew out there, and you can maybe see your breath sometimes, but starts to warm up throughout the day. And usually you're done playing by the end, where it usually gets to the point where you don't really want to be playing in that type of weather. Playing in 90-degree weather is pretty rough, especially for a big guy. And if you're wearing a black jersey or anything dark jersey related, that's pretty brutal playing in hot weathers. And so yeah, definitely like to play in a lot cooler environment.
Yeah, and with the weather and all, JD, what do you think is a good thing or something that we could do to bring more players into the speedball scene?
I mean, again, if I had the answers to that, we wouldn't have an issue. I think we have enough players. We got a lot on our team. You guys got a lot on your team. There's the game over guys. Have been out in the field more and more. We definitely have a lot of players that want to play. It's just getting everybody there on the same day is definitely a little bit tougher. because some people will come 1 week and then other people can't make it for another couple weeks. It's just having people get dedicated and making time for paintball as opposed to just having to go out and play whenever they want to. Again, like I said, last year was a good year for out of state paintball. We had a lot of people travel for that last 3-man event at Annandale. Like I said, we've seen some newer teams, people joining teams this year. I know you guys picked up a couple of people throughout the season, so it's just getting everybody dedicated to every week play.
Yeah. Do you think it'd be more beneficial to have more teams or more players per team?
More teams. As much as I want to play in one big team where we're just a mashup hybrid super team of one giant group of people, I also kind of like the rivalries. I love playing against you guys. I hope you guys like playing against us. Like I said,
We love to play against you.
or maybe you're just used to playing us at this point. But
Oh no, dude,
but
you're
that's
one of
that's
my
fun.
main goals every time I go out on the field. I'm always going for you.
Why does everybody say that? Everybody says that to me. I'm like, I'm the nicest guy out there. Why do you guys want to shoot me? Let
You're the
me shoot you.
one of the more dangerous guys out there. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
That's why we're trying to get you out the field.
for sure.
I'm a sleeper. But no, like Mitch and Tucker, and like I said, the game over people. I love seeing some new jerseys regularly at the field. I just think more teams is going to have more individual group competition that want to get better, and then maybe hey, we're going to go do tournaments now. We're going to get our buddy to join our team. If it was one giant team of 40 people, yeah, that's great. Who else are we going to play? Going to play with each other. It's
Right.
only fun for so long.
In the NFL, they got the Minnesota Vikings, and that's their professional football team. And then they obviously got college football teams. So, what do you think of us having like a professional Minnesota team, or just all across the country like that?
Hey, in a perfect world, that would be awesome. It just with the lack of playership, it's just never going to get to that level. I think it'd definitely be cool, but as soon as we have trillions of dollars coming into the paintball industry, like we do football and basketball and baseball, it's just going to be a fever dream for us.
Right. I mean, that's kind of what we're here for, trying to build the community, grow the community, make it more playable, make it more known. So one day, hopefully, something like that does come to fruition. That'd be awesome. I would love something like that.
Me too. But no, I think the current system, it is what it is. Tom Cole's been, in charge of tournament paintball for the last 20 years now. He gets a lot of shit for it, but having to juggle an industry that's starving for money, that doesn't have financial backing like major sports industries, it's just an uphill battle through and through. And no matter what decision an NXL makes or professional paintball makes, somebody's going to be unhappy. Somebody's going to be complaining. But it's an expensive sport that we don't have money for. It is what it is. You don't have to spend $100 every weekend. You can get a simple setup for $500 that gets you everything you need to play. You can go out, shoot half of a case 1 week. You can spend 30, $40 as opposed to 100 and still enjoy the sport just as much.
Paintball also offers a lot of entryways where, like you said, like you don't have to spend a lot of money to get into paintball. You can really start where you want to and then play up. You can play upwards from there, and you don't need to be spending a lot of money at first. But when you get into tournament paintball, that's when you're going to be spending a couple bucks, a couple of shiny bucks. But up until then, yeah, paintball is just a fun sport to dive into and to experience and to try out for sure.
I was gonna say the tournaments are expensive, but again, if you got a big group of people that helps split the cost, then that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Where
Yeah.
was your first travel tournament? Where did you go for that?
I guess Siege playing the 3-man, the point blank team. Shout out to Missile and Rico. Going out to Siege in Wisconsin and playing there for their first winter 3-man. I think that was 2023. I think that was my first real tournament. I had a couple of more on my PB Wigs account, but that was back when I was with Time Machine, and I didn't even know what tournament paintball was. I don't even know how I got on the team. I don't know how I got into those events. Apparently I did, and we did not do good.
There you go. Hell yeah.
What about you? Where have you guys been? You say you've done SEPs, and I hear you're doing EXL next year.
Oh yeah, we're looking forward to going down to Kansas and
Nice.
bringing some of that. I mean, those teams are technically considered the Midwest, but those guys can play year round, and we're excited to bring Minnesota ball back down to the EXL. Now a couple times, a couple Minnesota teams gone down there, but nothing consistent. And I hope we can go down there and be consistent and show up and be a team to not be trifled with.
Yeah, show up and show out.
No, and we'll certainly we'll help you get to that level too. I assume you guys are playing D5.
Yeah, I think the plan is to go D5. There are a couple of offers out on the table for acquiring new players. Not like we're
Ooh.
paying them, but Uh, Trying to see if we can get a couple of guys, and if those guys join, we might just have to be forced into playing D4. I've extended the arm, and if they wanted to come play, and they can certainly come play with us.
Yeah, and see, that's what it's nice about networking and just knowing everybody. Even if you're on different teams, you can still join up and go play an event. That's half the fun.
For sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
that's going back into the community, it's so amazing that you can have two teams that on the field are competing for wins, for money, for trophies, for podium spots, and then the next event comes out and maybe they can play for you. They don't have enough bodies and they can play for you and everyone's friend. There's I don't think there's any team that hates another team or will exclude another team or a single player.
No, not at all.
yeah, we really gotta pull each other up from the bootstraps. And I think that's what's really nice about Minnesota paintball is that for the most part everybody is relatively close. There is that competitive side, but when we're in the pit and the points are over, we're all laughing, having fun, giving pointers, giving tips. And I think that's really crucial for us because if we're always constantly putting each other down, then there's nothing to learn and people aren't going to be curious enough to play paintball or continue
No,
playing
and
paintball.
and I kind of view paintball as like it's kind of like driving a car. The first time you learn to drive a car, that first year you don't know what's going on. You're trying to pay attention to everything. You don't know what you're doing. You make stupid mistakes, but then hey, I've been driving for a while. Now I'm used to it. Now things don't
Mhm.
surprise me. Now I can focus on hey, maybe I can talk to my teammates while I'm shooting my gun, or hey, now I can focus on moves because I'm so used to shooting my gun behind this bunker and trying to stay as tight as possible. You just get used to those things over time, and then all of a sudden you can go out, run a point, and know exactly what you're doing without even thinking. You just got to give it time
Yeah.
with
Have
any
you
hobby.
have you ever had a moment that you fucked up, got a major penalty, and it completely ruined the game for the rest of your team?
I don't mean to brag about my penalties, but yes, I have gotten my fair share of dumb penalties, as I call them, in my book. And one that I can still remember was EXL last year. Um, we were just fighting for the last point. I think it was like 3-3. I think we were playing Havoc, if I recall correctly. And I either had an old hit on one of my pods that I couldn't see, or I got clipped, running up to the middle bunker, and yep, direct hit on my pod, couldn't feel it, got my major. That was three of our guys gone, and then we ended up losing that point, so that pushed us lower into the playoff seed. So who knows? That could have changed everything if we
Right.
got that penalty. So
Yeah,
it
that's
happens.
a tough
Penalties
position.
happen. Yeah, you can't stop them. You just gotta dust them off, get ready for the next point.
Yeah.
It's the ones that you shouldn't get. That's the ones you can be mad at. Someone's shooting hot, or someone's gun's not chronoed, or shooting too fast, or whatever it might be, or doing obvious things that they shouldn't be doing. That's the stuff that's going to cost your team uh, in the long run. An accidental hit you didn't feel, or a break that didn't leave a mark, but the ref saw, and you get pulled on it. That's stuff you can't ever change. You're never going to go back into a game. So just get off the field and get ready for the next point.
I can understand, shooting hot throughout the day, weather changes, heat will make you shoot faster, slower, whatever. But I've never really understood how people are shooting too fast. I like most guns nowadays have like a mechanical setting for the tournament play, and some people still show up shooting too fast. I don't really understand the mindset of that.
It's just people not paying attention and people relying too heavily on tech. And there was this issue that I was just discussing over the internet a couple of days ago. Is people were confused on why you set your gun to 10-2 instead of 10-5. Well, when you're shooting over a chrono in a short amount of time, even if you set your gun to 10-5, it can still technically read as 10-6 to arrest chrono, and that's immediately when you get a penalty. It's just that kind of stuff that you need to think about and be ready at the tape. Because
That's
again,
interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. I never even thought about that. So thank you.
see, we learned something today. See, we're making ground. That's why we pay attention to rules and give ourselves a little safety buffer so we don't ever run into issues.
I'm a huge stickler for rules. So I always go out of my way to always, tell my guys, hey, I don't want you guys to purposely cheat. Like that, there's no room in the sport. But at the same time, I know paintball is kind of about, getting away with a hit is a make or break, point. It can be a major point of a game where you can if you can get away with it, you guys can win a point. But at the same time, I feel like we should always be learning. If a guy is doing something right, they should be rewarded for it. So if a guy is shooting off break and he hits Randy, I want Randy to be pulled off the field. That way, that guy knows he hit Randy and he's doing the right thing. And during tournament times, it's always first come first serve, and it's always the person who wants to win the most is usually who's going to win. So at the same time, you have to kind of juggle that. So I get both stances, but I always tell my guys to, if don't purposely cheat, don't put ourselves in a situation where, you're screwing over your team because you got cocky or you're just wanting to be bad or whatever.
Right.
No, that's a good mentality as a coach. And Randy, would you like to tell us any times of you cheating at all?
No, I do my best to keep it honest. I know there's been a couple times during some scrimmages or even during some tournaments where I get called out on a hit and I never felt it. I even had the ref recheck me and there was no hit, but don't argue with the refs, man. They're also players. None of the refs that we have up here in the Midwest are professional refs. So just they're doing their best out there. Just if they make a call, that's the call. There's no point in arguing it. It is what it is.
I legitimately thought you were going to go into a story about how you were cheating. So thank you for turning the way that story was going in the directions. No, you're right. Say Tom and Bird, the two guys that have on our team and our events that have definitely done multiple NXL events for years. So they're very, very familiar with rules as well. So yeah, don't try and cheat at our event. We'll throw penalty flags. We like doing that.
Hell yeah.
Keegan, to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, we don't practice cheating. No one should ever do that because that's how you get into bad habits. And even something that we learned from Greenspan a couple years ago. When guys are practicing, they don't count their bounces, or how do I say that? They count their bounces as hits.
Yep.
Well, no, because then you get into the habit of anytime you feel something hit you, you slip up.
Yep.
Whereas you should be in the mentality of, hey, you get hit, check yourself real quick. You don't see any paint, keep going. Because again, you don't want to give yourself, I shouldn't say bad habits, but the wrong habits when you're getting into that how you say that involuntary thinking of paintball fundamentals.
Yeah, for sure.
And
No, I've definitely done that before. I've taken a shot to the chest and like 10 out of 10 times it breaks, but this one time it did not and I called myself out and as I'm walking off, I looked down and I was like, "Oh man. It didn't even break. I could have kept playing. Like I don't even think the guy knew he hit me. I think it was off a bounce."
And that is the worst feeling in paintball is having to walk off the field when you didn't have to walk off the field.
Yep.
a walk of shame, in my opinion.
Yeah, just head held down and get into the pit and just don't say anything.
Right. I mean, there's been times where I got called out by a ref and I'm walking off. I asked the ref, "Hey, where did I get hit?" Because I genuinely didn't feel it. Maybe it was my pod pack or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, you got hit on the head." Obviously, I didn't. I would have felt that, but I'm not going to argue with the ref. Just going to walk off and go check it out and replay the point back in my head of how could I have played that differently where I could have prevented something like that.
When we were at Steph's, I actually wasn't playing, 100%. I was just making stupid mistakes and getting hit when I shouldn't have been getting hit. And I actually sat myself for a couple games to kind of recollect myself. Have you ever had to run into issues with that, or maybe someone else on the team?
Me personally, no. I wouldn't say I definitely say I've had bad points, but I've never sat out to recollect myself. I try to do that on the field, and Keegan does a very good job of also making sure I do that. If it's because I'm playing too aggressive or not aggressive enough, Keegan is very good at letting me know stuff like that and helping me out on the field so I can go back into the next point with a completely different mindset.
Yeah, I
Keegan?
definitely sat myself before because I'm a big guy. I'm an easy target. And sometimes it's just not in the playbook to have a big guy on a field, especially for certain layouts. And so, I've definitely sat myself out for somebody who's more of an able body, more fit for me for the field. And I feel like that's why I've kind of taken on that coaching roles because although I love to play paintball, I love to view it from the sideline and to play that chess game from the sideline is where I get my fun playing paintball.
No, I totally agree, and luckily we've got JT to kind of do that. And much like having somebody in the pits when you're at an event, having that head coach or someone that's paying attention, all those points. You just can't see everything when you're out in the field. So having that central knowledge base, in the pit, that's just knows what's going on, knows when people are struggling, knows when people can't get to a bunker, and that's when you flip flop. That's when you make decisions. That's when you change your game, and that's really what can make or break. You getting on to out of prelims or you going home early.
Yeah.
I feel like this was a very good, very productive podcast.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you, JD, for coming on and talking to us. A lot of people don't have a lot of time in the day, so definitely appreciate you coming on and talking to us for about an hour. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, it's been great having you on here. It was awesome talking to you. You've been a huge help to me personally and a lot of other players. I'm sure of it. So yeah, thank you for doing this with us and spending the time with us.
No, absolutely. This was fun. Hopefully, this isn't the last time I can be on here. I'd love to join you guys in the future.
For sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No, again, you guys are awesome. I love having you on the field. Please keep playing. Please don't stop playing
Don't play
and
enough.
No,
get better. Get better so I can get better.
Hell yeah.
we will do that. We will do that.
And JD, what's the most important thing to remember before going out before a point?
That you just fucking play.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.